The following clip is from my sit down with a very knowledgeable diehard Leafs fan. We talk everything Habs and Leafs, including all the recent transactions for both teams, and we butt heads on a few different topics, including who now has the better team, how a playoff series would play out, and who has the better general manager. This video is sponsored by High Button Sports, and if you want to see the full sit down, check for the link down in the description. Domi for Anderson and a third.
It's going to come down to if Josh Anderson can stay healthy. Because if not, you kind of just threw away, I wouldn't say threw away Domi because you're going to have to find out. But I thought Domi, maybe Mete would be packaged, not for Line, but maybe for something down the road, like a goal scorer or something else. I don't think it was
more of a younger prospect.
Maybe like a better Tyler Toffoli at the time before they just signed Toffoli.
Right.
Maybe that's what I thought they maybe could have tried to.
Right.
And if you kind of got crazy, I was always bug your brother, big Habs fan, about maybe Kopitar. Trade one of those young guys and some for Kopitar. But I thought Domi would be part of a bigger deal. You know what I'm saying? To get a bigger.
Right.
But I mean,
because we added, it was Domi and a third round pick that we added for Josh Anderson, and then we do go on to sign Josh Anderson 7 years.
Yeah. $5.5
million. Now, I got to point this out here, and we'll get more into this Josh Anderson trade. But if you look at the contract that Anderson signed, he does have a modified no trade clause throughout the contract. But for the half of it, it's all it is he can name 8 teams he doesn't want to be traded to. That's for half of it.
Wide open.
Then it goes down in the last half. He can only name 5 teams. So we signed Anderson to that long term of a contract, and he barely has a no trade clause. So maybe if it doesn't happen to work out, it is a trade. It might still be a tradable contract.
And he's one of those guys that just like the physical specimen that people will probably always take a gamble on.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like someone will always be like, okay, that's interesting. Like the guy that big can skate.
Yeah.
Like I said, the shoulder holds up. I think he's a fine fit for Montreal.
Yeah, I love this. I absolutely love the signing. I've talked about it on my channel a bunch already, so people know that I love the signing. I've been an Anderson fan for a long time, like a couple years now. He's one of these old school power forwards that you don't see much of, like Tom Wilson, Wayne Simmons when he was in his prime. Yeah, they're very rare. And we've needed a right winger, a power forward right winger for so long. That's a piece that every Stanley Cup champion tends to have. A big right winger that can score. So to get that in Josh Anderson, who was one of the best before his injury, I loved it. So, I mean, we give up a really high price for him. Domi did have a 70-point season at center.
Yeah.
And I loved having Domi. Like you're a Leafs fan. I loved having that. There's a picture.
World Juniors, though. Everybody in Canada loved Domi.
Yeah. Oh,
He's just one of those guys. He's likable. And I like Domi. Just for the simple fact, when NHL.com put out who's the best player that ever wore number 13, he said Matt Sundin, not Datsuk. So, I don't mind. I have no problem with Max
the picture
at all.
Up there, him and Ty at center ice in the Habs gear. I love it.
Goofy,
just the troll factor. And those pictures will live forever, right? So we got
did all that for his kid to play, 2 years in Montreal?
Oh, yeah, exactly. And now he's crawling back to you guys, talking about how nice the moves were that Dubas made. It's hilarious.
The only reason I love Ty is because I think his best friend's Sundin. So I think they're so tight. So that's...
Yeah. So we give up a high price. Domi did have a 70-point season at center. But I don't think, there was rumors about us going after Line and Domi being part of the package, but Winnipeg didn't view Domi as a center.
Yeah.
The Habs didn't clearly see him as a center. Arizona didn't see him as a center. It's kind of like the Galchenyuk situation. Is he going to go to Columbus and be a center now? Or is he just going to end up on the left wing?
I would hope not.
They want him to be. That's what it seems to be like, but will he?
I just feel like at a certain point, you just got to say what it is, because all you're doing is just hurting him as a player. Like, just chuck him on the wing, let him do his thing.
Yeah.
So the
way that I'm kind of looking at this trade, if it ends up being Domi on the left wing, and we've got this is all assuming Josh Anderson gets back to form, right?
In full health, yeah.
We trade a left winger who's capable of anywhere between 50 to 70 points, depending on the season, because Domi has consistency issues, for a big power forward right winger. I feel like that's a trade win. Plus the fact that Domi signed for just 2 years in Columbus, could walk to free agency. Meanwhile, Josh Anderson could still have 5 years left on his contract, scoring 25 to 30 goals for us.
And I think another thing, too, is I know 5.5 the money, so you'd love to see him produce. Josh Anderson is one of those guys, even if he doesn't score, he can still have an impact.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Domi a lot last year, but he get frustrated, would take a stupid penalty.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another thing people I kind of underestimate. Even if Josh Anderson doesn't score, 20-something goals and live up to the full 5.5, he should always still have an impact on a hockey game because of his size.
The exact opposite of someone like former Habs captain Max Pacioretty, who is for a long period of time, was one of the best goal scorers in the league. Yeah. However, he did have a lot of slumps, and his last season with the Habs wasn't so great. But the thing is when he wasn't scoring, what was he doing? He was really good defensively. I'll give him that. Very strong defensively. But he's a big guy, but he didn't really use his body to forecheck, And I don't want to turn this into shitting on Max Pacioretty, but that's just my point.
Because he had a good
Josh
playoff.
Anderson, he did. He's been great in Vegas. Yeah. He really has been great in Vegas. But Josh Anderson just does so much out there, and I'm really excited to see him out there. And he's super fast for a guy his size.
And another thing is with a guy like Josh Anderson, see where the Leafs get Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons ain't playing with Marner. He's not playing with Matthews. He's not playing with Nylander.
Yeah.
Josh Anderson could have a top 6 role.
Yeah.
So he's a big boy that's affecting the big line playing. He's going to drag those guys into the battle, right?
Point. Yeah.
So it's not like,
Marner having to face up against Josh Anderson. And I love that. The other thing, too, looking around our division, I have, I think I mentioned it earlier, the Atlantic Division is kind of adjusting to Josh Anderson now being in the division. You guys get Wayne Simmons. You needed your toughness anyway. You guys were looking for that. But we saw...
Ottawa get Goodbranson.
Yeah, Ottawa get Goodbranson. There was another one, too. Was it...
Radko Gudas, Florida.
Radko Gudas for Florida. So
Patrick Hornquist in Florida.
Yeah, so teams are getting bigger. Like the Atlantic Division is going to be tough. We got Brady Tkachuk in Ottawa, so it's going to be a heavy.
And that doesn't mean fighting. That just means going in there and it's going to be hard-nosed hockey. If you don't bring your lunch pail, chances are you ain't coming out with a win.
Yeah, so I think we are going to see a few different fights here. Not nothing crazy. But like to set the tone early, you might see guys like, if you think about it, Josh Anderson is a right winger, Tkachuk's a left, so they're going to be lining up in the face-off dot against each other.
I love Brady Tkachuk as a Leafs fan. I still love the kid so much. And
I really like him too. I just hate that he's on the Sens, man.
I know it's like an Oilers with Matthew Tkachuk. It's like
he's the exact same kind of player like Anderson. I love those type of players. Wilson, Anderson, Tkachuk. Oh, man, I love Lawson Krause establishing himself as a power forward.
Yes, that was a big one because I always like Lawson Krause. World Juniors, yes.
If you like this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the bell for notifications, and you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook @Scotian Canadian. Cheers, guys.